Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And Shalom to you sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters listening and learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth to the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Nathan, coming out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a quick article real quick. It's from Time Magazine. As you know, you heard the shooting that took place on Bondi Beach in Australia Sunday during so-called Hanukkah for the tiny top people, right? You know, it's really what the feast of dedication, you know. But anyways, through the spirit, I believe, false flag, enough to keep the people riled up, to show that the tiny top people, they're the most persecuted in the world, and it's Islam's fault. These radicalists and blah blah blah, they're against us, Hey, like 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, let Satan get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, we know that Esau, Edom, so-called white man, he uses, his media, to deceive the masses, and push an agenda. And you know what? Hey, these people are willing to sacrifice their own people, all right, to make, to play into the narrative, right? So we're going to read this as Bondi Beach terror attack. At least 16 deleted as gunmen target small tiny hat holiday event. He said last 16 people have been deleted and dozens injured after two gunmen opened fire on a tiny hat holiday event at Sydney Bondi Beach on Sunday, in what officials have described as the deadliest mass shooting to hit Australia in 30 years. It says, the shooting, which Australian authorities have declared a terror attack, targeted hundreds of people celebrating Hanukkah at the beach. And it says, bear with me, parking. One witness said people were not part of the Hanukkah event, were ushered aside by the shooters. The victims were aged 10 to 87. See, that's another thing. Oh, you're not part of this event? Here, stand to the side when we gun these people down. Yeah, I ain't buying it. Authorities identified the suspects as 50-year-old Sajid Akram and his 24-year-old son, Naveed Akram. The 24-year-old suspect is an Australian-born citizen, while his father arrived in the country on a student visa in '98 and later transferred to a partner visa in 2001. The 50-year-old suspect has since been on resident return visas following overseas trips. At least 40 people were confirmed wounded in the shooting, which began around 6:45 p.m. on Sunday at one of Sydney's most popular tourist destinations. One gunman was shot and a second was arrested. Police said at a press conference on Monday before naming the suspects that the father, 50-year-old, was killed at the scene while his 12-year-old son was in critical condition in the hospital. The father has legally purchased 6 guns, according to police, which were found at the crime scene. Police also said they disarmed 2 explosive devices found in the suspect's car parked at the scene of the shooting. These devices were described as improvised and active by New South Wales police. How the hell did they know the vehicle was over there? That just seems funny. All the 6 guns he purchased were just right there on the scene. So this man, did he carry all 6 fucking guns and just drop? I don't know. It doesn't seem right. Anyways, Prime Minister of Australia Anthony Albanese said that there's no evidence that these people were part of a cell, and that it's extreme perversion of Islam that has resulted in these catastrophic consequences. This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Hanukkah, which should be a day of joy, Albanese said, adding an attack on Jewish Australians is an attack on every Australian. The National Cabinet agreed during a Monday meeting that immediate action should be taken to strengthen the country's gun laws, according to a press release from Albanese's office. See, that's another thing, too. Gun control. That's part of the agenda. To basically strip the people of anything to defend themselves. And that's what they've been trying to do in America, in the form of gradualism. Slowly taking away the ability to bear arms. So they can't have no resistance. And history shows any place that totally lost the guns, right, they were genocided and, totally taken advantage of when the citizens couldn't defend themselves. So that's what they're trying to do. That's all part of their NWO system, too, is to, not have these people be able to defend themselves. So that's part of the agenda. All right. But anyway, nonetheless, though, hey, guess what? Yahweh Shema Shah was the author of that, anyways. All those people that got put down. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. Meaning what? He's the only true living power. Because all the gods of the nations are idols. He's actually the one conducting all judgments upon the earth. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right. So even out of the 16 people that got deleted and the 40 wounded, all right, that was all according to Yahweh Shemel Shah anyways. Regardless if it was a false flag event, if it was set up, those people still got done away with. Because anyways, Proverbs 20:24 says what? Man's goings are of the Lord, how then can a man understand his own way? So even when these wicked people carry out a false flag event, well, the author of it was the Yahweh Shemel Shah. He set it up. It was written from the beginning to do that. Like Isaiah 46 say, he declared the end from the beginning. All right, so we understand that. Everything's of the Lord. Everything's done. Whether it be good or evil. You hear that off, let's see. It's Isaiah 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh Shemel Shah, do all these things. See? The Lord does all these things. All right, he's orchestrating the whole deal. See, people get all caught up in that was just the work of Satan. Who's in control of Satan? Yahweh Shemel Shah is. You see that in Job. All right? Just like we like to say, hey, really, Satan is technically righteous because what? He's following the will of the Lord. He does whatever the Lord tells him to do. He's perfect on the left-hand side, right? All right. So ain't nothing happening on this earth that the Lord wants it to happen. All right. Issues, death. That's this. Psalm 68:20. He that is our power is the power of salvation. Right, because only Yahweh Shemel Shah can bring salvation to anybody. And ultimately, what? Salvation is for what? The children of Israel. Okay? Right, and we know salvation is going to come of the elect of the nation of Israel on the side. Okay? You know, we're the only people that can be saved. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, man. It says, unto Yahweh Shemel Shah belongeth the issues from death. All right? There ain't nothing happening on this earth for what the Lord ordained it to. All right? Because people want to get caught up in their feelings. You know, oh, why did this happen? Well, people don't examine themselves. Now, we know, well, we don't know that for sure, but, hey, out of the 16 and then the 40 wounded, hey, there could be some Jake. Some Israelites mixed, some real Israelites mixed in there. All right? That made Tyrion to turn to the Lord. The Lord ain't just out here, everything has a reason. This is Zephaniah 3:5. It says, the just Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shah, is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Right. Why won't he commit sin? Because everything that the Lord does is justified. All right. Hey, like Galatians 6:7, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatever man soweth, that shall you also reap. So if you're sowing good seed, guess what? You're gonna reap the benefits of that. If you're sowing bad seed, guess what? You're gonna get the judgment that comes with that. Which gonna be, you have to pay with your life. Or other things that are happening in life are going to be jacked up for it. It says, every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. See, the unjust they don't know no shame. They don't understand the ways of Yahweh Shemel Shah. All right? They think when these people get put down that, they were the best people on earth. No, but when you filter their lives through the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, the law, statute, commandments, you see like, oh no, actually those people were hella wicked. All right, and they deserved that. What came to them. See, but everybody's in Esau Edom's world, the so-called white man's world. Everything's judged off emotion. It's carnally judged, not off the spirit. So that's why, the earth is in need of new management. That's why this place is going to be put down, and the righteous kingdom is going to be set up under Yahweh Shah. So hey, but there's going to be continued more evils, and only evils are coming. All right, nothing but bad times. Eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. Bad times are coming upon the earth, and it's going to increase. All right, as we get closer and closer to the end. All right, and the time is running out for Esau, even the so-called white man and his NWO. All right, time is on our side. All right, those are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, so. But time is running short on this side to get right. So if you're watching these videos, you're listening, you're learning. All right, you gotta pray to Yahweh Shemel Shah. It gives you faith. To seek Him in truth and sincerity. To seek Him while He may be found. Don't tarry to turn to the Lord. All right, drop your wicked ways. Rehearse the righteous acts to the best of your ability, like it says in Judges 5:11. In rehearsal, you're practicing, you're going through the motion, you're stepping up, but you're going hard though too, because in rehearsal, that's how you get to, rather be rehearsing for music, you want to be that first chair, or you want to be a part of the band, whatever, or let's say you're rehearsing, basketball, football, whatever, you want to start, right? You want to play, well, you got to go hard in the rehearsals, right? The practices. All right, so you can make it. And that's what we're trying to do. As we're rehearsing the righteous acts, we want to show that, hey, our efforts toward Yahweh Shem Shai will be good enough to what? To be saved. All right? You know, to be beamed up. You know, to have Yahweh Shem Shai say, my good and faithful servant, you know? So with that, I pray it's edifying to the elect, and I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh